Whoa, you must have been a beautiful baby. You must have been a beautiful child. When you were only starting to go to kindergarten, I bet you drove those other childs wild. Oh, yeah, oh, yeah, oh, yeah, when it came to...
All right, I was just talking about this. What do you do with the stuff that you didn't want from, my pals back in Cherry Hill who got some interesting things for Hanukkah, but didn't want to keep all of them? What do you do when you get stuff that you decide you don't want? It's just like that clutter thing I was mentioning when you're ushering in a new year, right? So you have these Christmas gifts, and now you got more stuff in your house, and then you're trying to get rid of other stuff, and you're trying to let go of things. Where do you sell it? Are you trying to do the yard sale thing? You're trying to do the eBay thing? And I think it's bigger than ever to sell your stuff. So who better to talk to than David Goldstein from Easy Sale? By now, he probably owns half of the world because he had a whole bunch of stores, certainly in Dallas. David, are you international yet?
Hi, Kate. Happy New Year. No, not yet. We're working on it, though. We're part of a larger organization now called Easy Sale, and we have 5 locations in Dallas-Fort Worth. And, I have our sights on bigger stuff, but that's coming.
Good for you. Hey, it's really true, isn't it? I feel this way just in my conversations with people all over. I think people are still continuing to downsize, and they like that, which means that they're selling more things, right?
Yeah, they are, Kate, and, at EasySale.net, we've actually, we're one day away, I guess, from wrapping up our best year ever. People have really turned to eBay more this year to get rid of some of the clutter like you're talking about and, turn that stuff into cash.
Okay, so what are this is always fun to ask you, because people are always curious about this kind of thing. And I know this is like a loaded question because you've had so many things that you've sold, but what's one of the most unusual things that you've put up that you've sold?
Well, I'll tell you one of the things that was really interesting lately, and I don't know the full story behind it, but we had a customer who came in and sold a phone wiretapping device. I assume it was illegal, and I don't know what it was used for. But, you can draw your own conclusions from that. We also are just about to put up a listing for and I think this was actually a gift someone got, believe it or not, a full-scale Freddy Krueger glove from the Nightmare on Elm Street movies. And nothing says love like a Freddy Krueger glove,
I like those movies, especially the first one. You start to go down the line, and then you kind of lose me, but I did like Freddy Krueger originally. Okay, so Easy Sale is perfect for somebody like me because forget it if I'm trying to sell it. If I'm trying to list it somewhere, I'm lost in the sauce. Do you help, and you must do this, right? Somebody, like I bring something, I have an armoire, whatever, and I bring it in, and I have really kind of an idea of what I think it's worth. Do you give me the price point on that? How does that work?
Right. So what we're going to be able to do at Easy Sale is do some research to try to figure out, based on historical sales, what your item is most likely to sell for. And, the market changes day to day, but with our experience and some of the research that we can do, we can look at things and say it's likely to sell in a range from X to Y, and usually we're pretty close. Things that are the same, like an 8-gigabyte iPod, okay? We can pin that down much more easily than we can an antique armoire that's going to be one of a kind.
Yeah. Hey, I was in a cell phone shop the other day, and they told me, oh, yeah, people buy your cell phones, and you can, always sell your cell phones because people don't know what to do with it or donate it to charity. They can bring it to you, right?
Yeah, and in fact, we have 2 different options. If the phone is relatively new, and especially if it's a PDA-type phone like an iPhone or something like that, we can sell it on eBay and recapture a lot of the value. For an older phone that's kind of at its end of life, we started earlier this year a trade-in and recycling program. We may be able to give you $20 or $25 for it, and we just pay you that in a check within a week so it doesn't go through eBay. And then we have a recycling partner that makes sure that those phones are recycled properly and, in an environmentally and socially responsible way. And if they're not worth anything, at least we'll plant a tree in your name, which is kind of nice. Yeah,
no kidding. I think that's a great idea. Okay, so we're just through the holidays. What do you think you might start seeing a lot of?
Well, there's some interesting statistics. eBay actually did some studies before Christmas to kind of find out what people return. And, they found like 1 in 4 people are planning to recycle an unwanted present by giving it to someone else as a gift. So that's the classic regifting. 1 in 5 people plan to, sell stuff on eBay that they didn't want. And the kinds of things that eBay says we should be seeing, we're just now getting people into stores with their returns. Things like power tools and do-it-yourself equipment, some home appliances. A big thing this year apparently is experience packages, like you buy somebody a hot air balloon trip or scuba lessons and, they're scared to go in the water or something of that nature. So, there's going to be the oddball things, but there's a lot of normal things, too. It's not just the ugly ties. I did a search, actually, on eBay just before we went on the air for things that are listed as unwanted gifts, because you can actually search that term. And I found an HTC Touch smartphone, very expensive smartphone, a number of recent released movies on Blu-ray, an 8-gig iPod Nano, several designer handbags. So, people tend to get rid of stuff that they get as a gift, not just because they don't like it, but often because it's a duplicate of something they already have. So there's perfectly good stuff out there, and you can make a lot of money by selling that stuff rather than, just storing it away.
Yeah. And so how does it work? Like we talked about this before, somebody brings it in, you decide what it's worth, you put it up there, and then you send them a check once it sells.
Basically, that's right. I mean, one of the things that's new since we talked last time is that we now offer free pickup service. One of the things we found was that people who had big items like, furniture and exercise equipment and stuff like that, they couldn't get into one of our stores. So we've now got a fleet of trucks that will go out to your home or business and pick that stuff up from you for free, or you can bring small stuff into our stores, whatever's most convenient. Then the Easy Sale staff person, like I said, will look up the item, try to give you an idea of its value, and decide how best to sell it. We handle the whole process, so we take the photographs for eBay, we write the description, we answer the questions that buyers ask, which tends to be, a lot of them. People are being more careful about what they buy. We take care of collecting payment and then the shipping or freight, which is a big deal when you're talking about shipping something like an armoire. And then about 6 weeks after you brought it into us, we send you a check for 60% of what it's sold for. The rest covers all the eBay and PayPal fees and our service fees. So it's a great deal, great time saver for people who are really busy and just would like to do other things with their time.
Yeah. From the business perspective of this, David, I see this getting even bigger. Obviously, this is what you're doing, and you have these stores now. Do you agree with me? Do you see this whole thing just regenerating itself and getting even bigger?
I do, and really for 2 reasons. The first one is eBay continues to make selling harder. They're trying to provide a safer marketplace for buyers, which is great, but to do that, they make the sellers jump through a lot more hoops. And so it's become a lot more difficult for the casual seller to just, sign on and sell 1 or 2 things. The other reason is that selling items online has become almost, part of kind of our social consciousness. It's what we expect to do. It's no longer something new and novel. And people don't have the patience to sit and do it themselves. They would rather drop it off with someone who will just take care of it and send them money, and that's what EasySale.net does.
No, that's excellent. All right, David, happy holidays to you. And, of course, I wish you the best in the new year. And thanks for joining us on America Tonight. And everybody can check it out by going to EasySale.net. Thanks, David.
Thanks, Kate. Happy New Year. You
too. How cool is that, though, that they pick it up? I think he's right. For most of us, the majority of people, you might have, I bet you right now, everybody listening to me, that's why I thought about doing this. I bet you right now everybody has probably maybe 2 to 4 things that are they just don't know what to do with. They're just hanging around. But here you could turn that into cash. And I think, like I said, in the clearing process for people, more people are selling their stuff. That's why I've noticed so many garage sales or estate sales or just people who put up that they're selling something wherever at the supermarket. I mean, you certainly, all of you know this. Places where you gather, you'll see signs about somebody selling something or in one of the free papers. And this is no exception. In this case, eBay, when it originally started, I think what happened for people, it was too much of a hassle. The shipping thing, and then the new rules, as David said. So more stores like David's are starting to pop up. And what a good idea. If you want to control if you want to control a little bit of that extra cash flow when things are really tight, this might be a good route to go.